From the east coast of Canada, I bid you good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the cosmos. All of the time zones are covered one way or the other. This is the premiere episode of Toast to Toast AM.
Nice.
So where Dave and I toast each other and toast you, the viewers who are joining with us late at night to cover one of our favorite pastimes from yesteryear, Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM.
The legendary radio show that is still running, but not with Art, and we're here to celebrate that show. This is our premiere episode, so we're going to be kind of winging it.
Mm-hmm.
But the point of the show is really to hang with you after dark, late at night, and enjoy some beverages, be they adult beverages or whatever beverage of your choosing, along with us, and to delve into the ridiculousness that was Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM.
I think you mean genius.
Genius was Art Bell.
A lot of easy mistake to make.
This is Apology Alive, where you're used to a former Christian taking a look at the claims of Christians. Mm-hmm. That is still what we are doing here tonight, in that the guest on the show is very much a Christian who is putting forth his views to art and to the world. And we will be listening along to those, along with some of the rest of the show. But first of all, allow me to introduce you to my co-host, Dave. Dave, welcome to the show and to the channel.
Hello, Paul. Wonderful to be here. How are you doing? Hello, channel. Welcome to everybody. We're so very glad you could join us tonight.
So this, I believe, is Dave's inaugural, I guess, your first your appearance. I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
Yes, this is the first time I've ever appeared on a Apologia branded.
Well, though Dave has done voiceovers for me in the past on some,
that's true.
On some things for the other channels, so you've heard him before. But Dave, just for a little bit of background, Dave was my very first YouTube co-host. The channel that I had before this was a co-production with my good friend Dave, and we were itching for another thing to do together.
Yep.
And look, Dave, we have our first super chat.
There we go.
It's from
Roger
and friend of the channel, Roger, for $5. So what we do when we receive a super chat is we toast you and we toast each other. So Dave, cheers.
Here's to you guys. Roger, here's to you. Art Bell. Rest your soul.
So tonight I am starting with the very fancy rum that I received from Vice Rhino as a special gift when I received my 100,000 follower flag.
I have Macallan 12-year sherry oak cask, which is my favorite Macallan, actually.
Ooh, yum.
They make more than one 12-year. If you're ever getting one, if any Scotch drinkers out there, you got to make sure you get the sherry cask 12-year because it is 20 times better than the other Macallans.
That's a lot better. 20 times is a lot.
You'll be like, these are both 12. Why is 170 and 150? And then you drink them, and then
I see. Yeah, so there you go.
Of course, that's Canadian dollars, so that's roughly 23
right
US or 42.
How much in Nephilim currency?
I believe they traffic in the souls of the
I see. Perfect.
Well, you know what? I'm actually not sure, but hopefully our guest will. I was laughing before when you were explaining it as somebody who grew up in the church with Paul. Paul and I originally met in church many years ago.
Yes, I was
just thinking about the reaction of the people we grew up with when somebody started talking about the Nephilim.
Well, the range in the church fair with the Nephilim is always there's like a core group of people that are very excited about it and have their own theories, and everyone else is like eye-rolling, afraid. Do we really have to go here now? Parts of the Bible we'd like to forget.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when I'm done the fancy rum, it'll be a little bit. I will move on to the cheaper rum, and be enjoying that as well. So we have plenty of drinks covered, and I also have a Hornitos Black tequila for anyone who sends in $10. I will shoot tequila. So this is your incentive, your chance to.
This is my $10.
The Kraken! I love
the Kraken.
That's
for
great.
$10. Yeah.
Shannon is away this evening, so this is the chance to get me just blitzed as we listen to the fun.
Yeah, I'm the substitute.
Well, welcome everyone here. And so for those who, we have another one.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, $20. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm still on the good rum, so I will keep going with that.
Yeah, well, here. I said I'd unleash the Kraken, and I'm a man of my word. Thank you very much, Fred Harvey.
Tequila it is, and Fred writes, "Careful, Paul and company. You're fairly popular now. Keeping up with this toast thing might end badly. Keep up the good work." That is really
live forever, point. Fred.
The point of this show is to go off the rails, because we are covering a show where they go off the rails.
We'll do this, and then maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, let's. Right? Cheers, Dave, and cheers to you, Fred.
Cheers to you, Paul. Fred. Yeah.
Break out your if any Christians want to screen capture me doing weird stuff tonight. Tequila makes me make weird faces. Okay.
Here we go.
Off we go. So, Dave, for those who are unfamiliar with Coast to Coast AM, please give us a little brief introduction.
So I first stumbled across Coast to Coast AM in the 90s. I often listened to late night radio, and it came on in the city that we was living in on midnight. It was a 4-hour long. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 hours that they would air of it.
I believe that it would vary. I think the weekend was 4, and I think weekdays was 3, I believe.
And so the show Coast to Coast AM, it would start at midnight and just go, and it was just the most insane conspiracy theories, anything remotely paranormal, ghosts, Nephilim, angels, end time, UFOs, lots and lots of UFOs. UFOs are kind of their bread and butter. But the interviewer, the man hosting the show, was a guy named Art Bell, and he was a phenomenal interviewer. He had this fantastic voice and just had this way of, no matter what the person, there were weeks when there would be guests that had directly contradicted themselves. I remember one week somebody came on, it was like they had a whole thing about, like the artificial moon, the moon's a giant spaceship, blah, 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 people might have it right. And the next week, or within that same week, was somebody all about how, no, the moon is absolutely natural. And it was somebody from a geology background, and we can go to prove it. But the moon was created using technology, but it was created from parts of Earth. And these two, like the things these guests saying were straight contradictions of each other. But with both of them, Art was like 100% on board and go, you never knew how much of what this, there's a show he personally believed or went. He did a very good job of sort of keep playing his cards close to the chest and kind of just exploring ideas. He was very much a UFO guy. He definitely believed that. But I'd never heard anything like it. And certainly not taken with the level of seriousness that this did. And then, of course, the best part was the open lines when people would just call in.
Right, yes.
Just like the craziest people who like called in and talked about how they caught aliens in shoe boxes and had them in their closets. There's one, we got to do the episode on Mel's Hole sometime, Paul.
Absolutely.
That's one of the classics. Yeah.
So as Dave alluded to, the show is quite long. I cut this one down. I cut out the copyright music portions and other things. So those of you who like to keep me accountable for my edits, there will be a link to the full episode in the description if you're willing to pay to get to the full episodes, which is the only way to get them legally, at least. And but I did include, Dave, I think I wanted to give the audience a bit of a taste, so I included a couple of the first calls.
Okay.
Just to get a taste before we get to the Nephilim and we get to the Bible interpretations for end times and things like that. The other thing that, in listening back today, I learned about Art was that I used to say that it was like if Fox Mulder had a podcast, because Fox Mulder was basically willing to buy into pretty much any theory or any idea.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I always thought Art was that way, but I noticed today Art actually was willing to push back a little bit when he was he would play both sides of the fence. So if he felt like
he was, and I remember, I can't think of exact episodes, but there's definitely episodes where where somebody's thing is so outlandish, and Art's just like, no, there's absolutely no way
right.
what you're saying is true. Like, it's
so we'll see how far we get today. But
Flat Earth is an example of a thing where Art Bell was just like, no,
right.
That's like demonstrably and clearly false. There's absolutely no backing for so which helped out, right? Where he was willing to go so far, but wouldn't just wholesale believe everything you would say. He would.
Right. So I think he was probably a pretty good showman. I think he understood what was going to.
And he was certainly he was more forgiving with his guests than he was his callers. He would push back harder on the callers.
Yes.
Than he would on the person who was doing an interview. I assume it was kind of out of a courtesy, like, I've called you in to do an interview. I didn't call you in to ambush you and do, yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, should we get going? Should we start up the episode?
I reckon we oughta.
All right. Everyone's ready for our first episode.
I see. There's Aaron Wanka. He's seen the show. He knows. Yeah. Episodes on rods. Yes. Yep.
All right. Well, here we go. As I mentioned, I've edited out copyright material for YouTube purposes. There was no YouTube back then. You could just do whatever you wanted. This show, for context, it aired in, was this one 2012?
I don't remember when.
I'm pretty sure this episode was 2012, and I think that will actually
would have been
play
the end of his.
Yeah, it was near the end of his life and run. Yeah. All right.
Let me tell you, a lot of so-called crazy things on Coast to Coast AM happen to turn out to be absolutely true. You just hear them first here, and that's not to say everything you hear here is necessarily true or is going to come to pass. But I think it's worth calling when it does, particularly the next day. There are 3 French...
So just to set the stage, this episode was a weekend episode, and on the Friday, he was particularly proud of the show he'd had the previous day, which is about weather conspiracies and how all the countries were getting together to falsify the weather and or not really know the weather, and then perhaps there was some kind of alien invasion involved with
yes, Timothy,
our weather system. So
to answer your question, this does absolutely make you an enabler.
All right.
Yeah.
$10. Oh my goodness. $10 again. Oh sheesh.
It's all going to be your fault.
Okay. Timothy. Cheers, and cheers to Dave. And cheers to everyone.
Friends. Ugh. Oh, this is going to be a long fucking night, Paul. What have you done?
Give me a long night. Off we go.
What have you done to me?
Physicists who say they have now figured out how UFO engines work. This came from Whitley Strieber's website, Unknown Country. They claim...
So this is the news portion. He starts off with news. Mm-hmm. So what breaking news, they figured out how UFO engines work.
They use a combination of electromagnetic and nuclear power, and they've built a model UFO engine at the French Astronomical Observatory in Marseille. Jean...
What's the difference between nuclear power and electromagnetic power in this context?
It's a combination, Dave. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Nuclear, electromagnetic.
I'm no physicist. The people in this room, one has a university degree, and it's not in physics. So, I guess we have to take Art's word for it.
I guess so.
Pierre Petit, Claude Bohur, and Maurice Vinton call their engine, I'll never pronounce that. Say anyway, it'll produce over 1 million watts of energy. One of its secrets is it can suppress shock waves, which occur naturally in the air, and slow down any flying object.
What you're always hearing about is, from NASA, and everyone's like, how do we prevent the shock waves?
Yeah.
It's a big flight consideration. The Wright brothers were up against the shock waves.
And we have these engines, but we're not going to make hundreds of billions of dollars by using them commercially. No,
but a news story told us about how in France they've got them.
Secrets. Yeah. That jives what I know about human nature.
Has a much more open attitude toward UFOs and do similar institutions here in the U.S. For instance, the head of the French UFO group Gapon, while remaining in his position as head of the astronomy department of the French equivalent of NASA, this would not be possible in the U.S. No. So they think that they have created, a UFO engine. First time caller line, you're on the air. Hi.
Art, this is Paul in Fremont.
Hello, Paul.
I work as a security guard out here in California, and I don't always get to hear all your show. Concerning your show last night on the weather phenomena.
Yes.
This is Paul. Like, in serious now, you have no idea how happy this is. Like, this is taking me back so much, and just even the caller coming in and everything. I'm like, this was everything I loved. This was great. Well, you can tell this is definitely towards the end of his. Right, like his voice is not the voice he had in the 90s.
If we keep the show going, we'll see. See how this goes. We definitely be open in the comments to you guys suggesting some of your favorite episodes of the show as well. But we're starting with the ones that relate specifically to Christianity and those kind of things, since that's the theme of the channel. For those of you who don't know, he broke up for some reason. The callers between east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies. There was it
had to do with originally anyways, it was like line, because this was in the 90s, right? So like there was like it was all copper lines and things, right? So he would try to spread it between, because there were different actual literal numbers you would call depending where you were geographically in the States, and to keep it fair, he would try to balance out.
So you would rotate around. So east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies, wild card line, which I never really understood what that was. I guess you just call. And
I don't remember.
And then there was international as well. So anyway, so my experience with this started when I was, I don't know if you remember, back when I was in Bible college and I was commuting from I had worked. I worked in Saskatoon, but went to Bible college in Regina.
That classic 2.5 hour.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. And so like 2 or 3 times a week I was driving back and forth like at midnight. So this brings me back to Bible college days. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat, where were you when you remember hearing good old Art Bell?
Afternoon after I got to work, I looked up and lo and behold, I saw a cloud formation that was a dead ringer for a carpenter's square.
Mm-hmm.
But it was such a perfect right angle.
Well, you've got to admit
it really stood out.
You've got to admit that with what he said last night, and then the story I just read you that broke today, it seems like there is a connection, huh?
It's a little too freaky, yeah. And
there was a perfect square of cloud in the sky, Dave.
Yeah, and it's like those ancient alien fuckers should be paying this guy's family royalties every goddamn episode. It is. Anyways, let's
carry on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure all this.
If I swear, am I going to demonetize you? Do we need to?
No, we're good.
All right, nice.
So what was I going to say? Oh, I've a lot of this, of course, doesn't hold up to like if people just have cell phone cameras, right? Like
yes, which by 2012, I feel like, well, cell phones anyways were cameras. Boy, time, right?
Yeah,
weird thing. I'm trying to remember. Would cell phone cameras have been?
Yeah, 2007 was the first iPhone, right?
Yeah, and the first iPhone had a camera on it, right?
Yeah.
And the Galaxy was right there. Oh, PJ. I'm trying to.
PJ. Oh my goodness, I needed to.
Jesus, Paul. What do we? We've had so much. I haven't had this much to drink this fast in a.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me too. Time. I've been trying to cut down on the summer, but too bad. Art Bell.
Gonna start doing half shots here. All right. Cheers. Thank you very much, PJ. Cheers, everybody. Oh my god.
So if I just completely fall down,
I'm gonna be tasting crack
and pass out. You can just close out the stream later, even on your
own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. If Dave and I both collapse, then you guys can just close out the stream on your
own. I've got roughly 300 pounds on you, so I think hopefully I can hold it a little past.
All right,
I can at least
longer.
I can't stop the stream, but I can at least say goodnight to people.
That's right. Yep. We'll let it keep going.
I'll text, Shannon and let her know that she needs to alert the authorities.
Perfect.
Somebody needs to come over and roll you onto your side.
I'll text my neighbors now.
This beer is almost going to. I really need to. Okay.
All right.
By the way, you're a security guard, you said. In every science fiction movie I have ever seen, sir, security guards are sitting there usually at a desk, with a pair of headphones over their ears so they can't hear a damn thing because they're listening to a show like this, and that's how they get eaten by monsters.
Well, I never walk into dark rooms, and I never wear headphones when I'm walking around.
Is that right? Okay.
Well, there we go.
He's not wrong. Oh, my goodness, Paul.
My friend Paul. That's other Paul. Paul, remember?
Paul, yeah.
Paul. Yeah.
Paul, welcome to the channel, to the show.
We all played D&D once upon a time.
We did.
And now I got to have a shot of Kraken because my friend Paul is a son of a bitch.
This is a lot of tequila all at once.
Yeah, this is...
Cheers.
Give me a sec here.
All right. I should have set the price higher.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, I didn't talk to you since. How was your daughter's visit? Was it? You guys had a good time. It looked like.
Yeah, we're not. This isn't family time. We're here to talk about our bell.
I guess. Sorry, my mistake. I'm kind of getting drunk already because your followers are assholes and they're making me drink. It's like freaking Frosh week in here.
My daughter has she's in her first week of being stationed at her new post, which I will not say on stream because that would be irresponsible.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're not saying her name, not saying anything about it. But
exactly.
I'm actually curious, so I will talk to you about it.
We'll chat more later. Oh my goodness. Well, too late. Oh, this is just $5, so I can drink my normal.
I can drink this delicious Macallan Scotch.
But cheers to you, MIA. MLA? MLA.
MLA.
A member of our legislative assembly. Ugh. The rum is a nice break from the tequila.
The Scotch is a nice break from the rum.
All right. We're not going to get very deep into this show.
Line, you're on the air.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Well, the story about I looked up the story on the bird flu virus, and it is indeed very fresh. The story about the increasing deaths from BBC.
Yes, and it would appear as though the mortality rate is nigh on to 75%. Now, should that ever get loose and be airborne, as the regular flu is, well, you can imagine the horror.
It does have me a little concerned.
I kept this call because it's very prescient to what actually happened 8 years later.
A little on the nose.
Art, and let's keep listening. And we'll get to Barbara's.
Let me also just say, Barbara, you are one of my favorite people for tipping $9.99, so I don't have to do another shot of that rum in one of these delicious scotches.
But it's still a drink. I'll go back to my Rhino rum. Cheers, Barbara. Used to listen to Art Bell when I worked overnights on the ambulance. Ooh. And would add Bringing Out the Dead feeling, the Nick Cage movie on creepy fall nights.
Yes, that's it's a good movie. That's a very good movie. Yeah.
All right. Let's hear more about the prediction, if you will, of what was to come 8 years later.
Third, Art.
Me too. And if that actually were to break out, I think I mentioned this to somebody a few weeks ago, and I think a lot of people would have to do this. There would be no help for it unless they got an effective vaccine other than isolating yourself from the rest of the world for a period of time. Otherwise, that's it. 3 out of 4 of us would be toast.
Right?
Yeah. Art Bell, I'm telling you, he's just a guy. No opposition on the genius.
Ahead of his time. He was like, the only way we can fix this. So his concern, I know from listening to episodes around it, was that the chicken, what was it called? The bird flu.
Bird flu, yeah.
And the avian flu and regular flu were going to combine somehow. This was his idea of how genetics works.
Yeah.
Was not an indication in one or the other. That viruses would become sexual and breed somehow.
They don't have sex, Paul. They just kind of, in a blob-like state.
They just kind of smush.
Yeah. Yeah. When one person has both viruses. So you need a person to catch both diseases at the same time.
Right.
Right.
And both of the viruses love the host very much.
Yeah.
You get a new Andromeda strain set up.
Well,
which is nothing about that. That's about a virus that comes from space. But whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
Andromeda strain, of course, was from elsewhere. This one's homebrew.
I think it's our own. Well, the other thing, the thing that really started to get me worried was last fall when there was all of a sudden a shortage of flu vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't.
That's how 2012 is different than now, though. There was a shortage of vaccine. Here, we can't give the vaccine away now.
Now now Obama's sending the immigrants to force you to take it.
Help but think that this was somehow the one punch of a 1-2 punch against the world's population.
Well, it could be, sir. What is I think bothered me is that for months now we've been reading stories of scientists warning us that the bird flu is going to jump or is likely to jump and then is likely to be combined with the flu. That's pretty good stuff, worthy of, Ed Dames or any other person who would have the ability to actually look into the future. In other words, how do scientists know this is going to happen? That's what's worried. It's like they're writing the stories as though they know it's going to happen.
As scientists will do. They predict the future with high confidence and certainty.
Although, scientists with degrees in futurology, not all scientists. It's like not all doctors, are
but
medical doctors. Not all scientists know the future, but
futurologists
and futuricians, which are two different disciplines. I didn't go to school for 8 years, futurist school.
Have you just come up to me and say, well, how do you know for sure?
Quick question, Paul.
Yes, Dave.
How many minutes of playtime are we into this?
Oh, I don't know. We're like 5 minutes in. There's 2 hours of show.
Yeah.
We're not going to get through it all. We will probably do
part 2 or 3 fucking getting through it all
in future weeks.
Mama Zebart didn't raise a quitter, Paul.
No.
That's actually 100% a lie. She absolutely.
Yes, I'm aware. Your mother did raise a quitter. Yeah.
Yeah. The second I get bored, I just kind of wander off. Yeah.
Well, I guess it is the job of science to look at what is probable and what dangers we might face. I guess I'll not pursue that. International line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art. I was calling about the fan club here up in Nova Scotia.
What?
Nova
Scotia!
You go, buddy. Sociable. Yeah, that's where I live now.
That's it. Oh.
Apparently, at one point there was a Coast to Coast AM fan club.
Yes.
Where I live. I looked it up. I can't find it now. I don't think they're meeting any longer.
No, Coast to Coast has greatly fallen off from what it was.
Anyway, it's a shame. I arrived too late. But let's hear what my fellow Canadian, your fellow Canadian.
Our fellow Canadian.
Oh, for those who didn't realize Dave was Canadian.
I'm also Canadian. We did talk about how we've known each other for decades and go.
I lived in the Americas. You know this.
Yeah, but we predate that.
We do.
Fan club.
Well, it's a small fan club we have here in the community, and we have some few things that we wanted to get to you because we realize you're a little bit concerned about what's going on with the earth and stuff. Are you aware?
We got some stuff for you.
It is hot, Shannon. Hot as fuck right now.
You're concerned about the earth and stuff.
Yeah.
So we got to get you some things. Hey, Shannon. Oh, that's not. So we're listening to some.
This is like the Graham Norton show where they just get the dressed drunk, and then you get the very best possible interviews from Patrick Stewart or anybody. You're a genius, Paul. This is the best show. Everybody, we're going to revolutionize YouTube. We're literally the first person to think about drinking. And
for those just tuning in now, like Shannon, this is the Nova Scotia Coast to Coast fan club.
Yeah,
calling in.
Mini dome, yes.
It's like a protective covering. I haven't heard an ad run it until now on the radio, but it's a thing that we have. We make our own, and we also make suits. They protect you from any kind of frequency. They're spectrum suits. They protect you from any kind of energy. And
they're spectrum suits, Dave.
They're 100% not foil. They are a copyrighted.
It's a spectrum suit.
Yeah.
Protects you from all frequencies.
Foilion.
So nothing will happen. Nothing will happen frequently when you're wearing this suit. Your heart will stop beating.
It's like a still suit, essentially.
Nothing will happen. Nothing will repeatedly happen. It will protect you.
Oh, this is just the first caller.
No. We're like third caller at this point. Remember, there was the guy who had the square. There was the square cloud.
That's right. I'm sorry. The night is already.
We had the night watchman who doesn't get killed.
He was a square cloud
one for
guy,
you.
wasn't he?
What's that?
Wasn't he the square cloud guy, the security guard?
Oh, maybe.
It super does not matter. I regret ever bringing it up.
And Ramona, and even a mini kennel for your cats. Yeah, we were wondering. We've been trying to get a hold of you.
You want to protect your cat again? I forgot that it protects you from frequencies and also from the spectrum, whatever that is.
The spectrum, which I mean, it's autism, spectrum. Presumably.
You want your cats also protected from the spectrum.
Yeah, and I just want to say 10. You're exactly right, because I used to go on long drives and road trip. Like there was a period where I worked driving at night, and yes, that was the thing. Coast to coast AM, you could pick it up anywhere. It was literally coast to coast. So as you drove or went on AM stations, you could pick it up. You just had to find the new AM station and whatever once the frequency went. And
I used to make 14-hour drives from one part of the prairies to another part of the prairies.
Yeah,
and I'd switch stations.
Not to mention that at night AM radio would carry.
Yeah. But forever, you could literally switch stations for sure. You could always find a local station that had it.
Well, we don't like to say which spectrum, Kim. That's neat to know.
No, the spectrum. It's just generically all spectrum. It protects you from all spectrums.
Yeah, there's a spectrum of spectrums
and frequencies. It protects you from spectrums and frequencies,
some of which are more frequent than others.
But just once, because if it protected you twice, that would be a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
By email, but we haven't been able to. So we were wondering.
All right, here's how to get hold. Now, rest. artbell@mindspring.com.
Artbell, and what should what would you?
Oh shit! Remember Mindspring?
So that you.
Yes, Mindspring was a thing.
Yeah.
You would pick it up.
Dome protection.
Dome protection. Okay.
All right.
We'll send you an email.
All right, buddy. Take care.
My proud provincial brother and brethren sending him domes for spectrum protection.
Yeah, there you go. That's your provincial brethren, not mine.
My provincial brother.
Nobody drinks Screech over here.
I don't know. It brings a mental picture of 4 little mini domes for our furred friends. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Art?
Yes.
Hi, it's Diane from California.
Hi.
Hi. I have an idea about the weather situation that maybe because of crop circles being linked to electromagnetic energy, that either they're...
Paul, I'm trying to listen to this woman, doctor.
No.
This doctor.
Yes.
Explain how crop circles are linked to electromagnetic energy, and you are disrupting my educational experience.
Why? Electromagnetic energy.
And also, really quickly, I want to call out, well, I can't pronounce that. Udahef Huq, just for saying Space Coast Coast to Coast, because that's one of my favorite shows of all time. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I ever... Did you ever watch Space Coast, Paul?
You tried to get me to watch that.
I tried to get you to watch.
I watched like 1 or 2, and and it had like Quick Draw McGraw on it. Is that the one?
Well, there was there was.
No, but that was the show, right?
Where it was the thing that started Adult Swim and everything.
It had Warner Brothers characters on it for whatever reason.
Yeah, and real people. It would have real human, like Tyra Banks or David Cross, or like real human beings would be interviewed by cartoons, and they would like film it ahead of time and then do the animation afterwards. It was a talk show, like a David Letterman, Conan O'Brien type talk show, with human beings being interviewed by this cartoon.
I'm a skeptic. I don't think that Tyra Banks was a real person unless you provide sufficient evidence.
Well, I have an episode of Space Coast Coast to Coast on DVD. I could show you.
Fiction. Spider-Man
fallacy. Before they were able to fake that.
You're just Spider-Man fallacying all over the place here.
Okay. Look,
trying to tell us something by the crop circles that this is happening, or that the crop circles are telling us that they're doing it. And now I'm thinking that maybe the chemtrails is our government trying to protect us from something the aliens might be doing.
Well, you can just really
the chemtrails are protecting us from something the aliens are doing.
What was I don't understand what it was the crop circles were trying to tell us.
Well, they were trying to tell. I don't know either. But they're like
if anybody in this room at this point doesn't understand why this show was the most amazing thing on radio, then I don't know what to do for you.
That's why I included. I want to get to our guest because that is the Christian.
That is the thing, but the callers were the best part. The callers were the best part.
And in fairness, like there are some like legitimate, famous, like actual scholars that went on this show to try to explain theories.
And the thing is, like, you can look it up. There's clips of like he had like George Carlin on.
Yes, I saw the George. Yeah, saw that one.
Who's the guy that was Regis Philbin? Like, he had a variety of like and there wasn't any. He was just interviewing them, just talking because he was also legitimately
legit professors. Like
he was a very good interviewer,
right?
But yes,
yeah.
Anyway, Paul, I want to know about biblical demon giants.
Well, we got to get through how the chemtrails are protecting us from whatever the crop circles are.
No, the crop circles.
Your imagination run wild, can't you?
Doesn't that sound kind of?
I don't know.
Interesting?
Well, yes, it does. It sounds interesting, however, imaginative. In other words, we don't really have the facts. We don't really know what crop circles are. We don't really know what electromagnetic energy may be getting used by various entities and or / governments, whatever. We can pretty well imagine there is something going on, but imagining a connection between things that we don't know the basis of in the first place is, well, imaginative.
That was so super skeptical of him.
Yeah. Yes. He would, like I said, he would shut people down, especially callers. Where's the callers? Right. He was just like, what are you talking about? It's oh my God. Shannon, do you understand how much I've had to drink already tonight? And I'm out of scotch now.
Well, that's okay, because we're on the
and I'm out of beer now, so I guess that means because it is your lovely bride
partner,
I need to. I guess fair. Need to do a shot of. Even though normally this is $10, $5 from you, Shannon, is $10 from anybody else.
Cheers! Cheers to Shannon, who is should be having a fun time elsewhere in a tent. So
I hope you're having a wonderful time in a tent, which sounds like hell to me.
All right.
How hot is it where you are right now, Paul?
It was like 32 today, something like that.
No, fair enough. That's what it's like 35 here. It's probably all these fucking chemtrails.
Probably. They're protecting us from the aliens, though, so be thankful.
Coast to Coast AM with
what?
Well, let's finish. Let's
Art Bell.
This would be the worldwide part of it. Patrick Heron was born in Dublin, Ireland, in 1952. He became interested in Bible prophecy concerning the end times around 1996. In 1990.
Paul,
yes.
Did you, in your edit, include any of the ads?
So the paid site. So I became a paid subscriber to the Coast to Coast website. Doesn't have the ads preserved, unfortunately.
Because here's what, so Coast to Coast was like a 3 or 4 hour show.
Yes,
but they had like an insane amount of ads because they would have all of the ads for Art Bell personally because it was syndicated nationally and would be on different radio shows. So you'd have the normal commercials that radio shows would have, like, you know, on the half hour, the 15 minutes, the 20, like you would have, right, your 8 minutes of ad per half hour block. Plus, then he would insert his own ads,
right?
That were like everything you see on Infowars. It was all like you know, how to prep your. There was like seed packages, food prepping.
No, but it would also be the equivalent today of like, it'd be like VPN ads,
ads,
kind of, whatever you would see now advertising on a podcast.
Yeah,
back in the 90s, they would advertise on Art Bell.
He would just do hot reads of these ads in his show. Right. So, like, in a given half hour of an Art Bell show, you would have maybe 10 minutes of like actual show.
Right. And so that's what I spent part of the day doing, was editing. They always used copyrighted music, though.
Yes.
And to be
because
fair,
it was an AM radio show, so they would like
AM radio stations had license to do this, so it's not a problem for what they did back then. But I was cutting out, like, every 15 minutes they would cut to break, and so I had to cut out the copyright music on each side of the break, and that was Yeah, you're frequent. You're not wrong.
I'm gonna, Shannon, just because you told me to.
Nidemus.
Right.
Let's get Apologia toasted. $2 so I can drink my rum.
You're a gentleman and a scholar. Okay, I gotta go grab another beer really quick so that I can drink something that's not just cracking rum.
Do you mind if I just keep playing this? Keep playing.
You keep playing it. I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
All right. I guess I can keep him there. I'll just go to solo view. Keep playing the art.
7. His first book, Apocalypse Soon, which we're going to discuss today, was published and became a bestseller in Ireland, and then he followed it up with Apocalypse 2000, Patrick's latest book, The Nephilim and the Pyramid of the Apocalypse, which Patrick believes is the first ever book proving overwhelmingly who built the pyramids and why. Patrick has a BSc and MA in Business Studies from Trinity College, Dublin, and a Bachelor of Theology degree from the College of Biblical Research, Rome, Italy, Indiana. Patrick is not associated with any particular church or denomination. Now, that's very interesting. Not associated with any particular...
I don't know why that's interesting exactly. Like,
interesting that no
he's not
reputable Christian organization wants to be associated with this nut job.
Did you see this one?
Oh, Shannon, how are you doing?
All right. We're on to the actual guest now, who has written a book solving the mystery of who built the pyramids.
Channel, should I drink a Halo beer? Don't know what it is. Picked it up. Or a good old Irish beer, Harp. It's a classic.
The guest is Irish.
The guest is, well, then that is it. And Nadimos paid $5. So,
cheers. We're still on Rhino rum.
You're a gentleman and a scholar, and I'm going to toast you. Nidemus.
I am going to fall over in my chair later. Okay.
I'm so far away. I can't help you.
Later, with this time.
Church or denomination. It's a very long way to Ireland, indeed. Here is Patrick Heron. Patrick, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Art. It's lovely to talk to you.
Several years ago, Patrick, I had the honor of going to Egypt, and I got escorted through the pyramids, and even some of the...
Or escorted out of the pyramids. So he goes, there was security.
It was through the pyramids.
I remember at the end there was a gift shop and
pretty secret places that are there by
it's true. There was a building with triangles.
But I've heard Art talk about this before. I'm sure he's talking about the Great Pyramid of Giza because I know he visited and he's talked about it on many shows how struck he was by Giza.
None other than Zahi Hawass himself, and we had a pretty significant discussion about who built the pyramids, and I can tell you without reservation that he believes the Egyptians built the pyramids.
That's my theory. My personal theory is that the Egyptians built the pyramids.
You're in line with what Art thinks.
Did it with...
I feel like the guest is going to challenge that notion.
Well... Hey, Minard saves.
You're eating away at the last of my incredulity because the last few humans lead me to my ancient aliens guilty pleasures.
Minard saves. Literally the last thing I want to do is take away any pleasure you enjoy. And if you enjoy ancient aliens.
But cheers to you, Maynard.
Let's finish this off.
You mean the drink or the show? Oh, the drink. All right.
Just all of it.
We're still on the introduction.
I had a pretty mediocre run. I think we're gonna call it good.
I know that you don't believe that's true, do you?
No, I don't, Art, and I'll tell you why. Scores, if not hundreds, of books have been written about the Great Pyramids of Egypt, and not just the Great Pyramids, but also other ancient monuments that populate the world, such as Stonehenge, Easter Island, the pyramids in Mexico and Peru and Guatemala, Angkor Wat.
Sorry, I just saw Brian Stevens comment over there, and it made me laugh.
What did Brian say?
The pyramids built the Egyptians.
That's right.
Our understanding is completely wrong. Yeah. And that is actually correct. Lewis has nothing to do with current conversation, but that is accurate. Yeah.
Etc., etc. And the conclusion that all these esteemed authors come to is that some lost civilization or advanced race of people built them, but nobody knows who they were. Well, I believe I've found the answer to this conundrum. Okay. And what I've done is...
The archaeologists and anthropologists, they know.
Nobody knows who built them. Well, I'm just gonna plow through your objection.
There literally used to be a profession called Egyptologist. You could be an Egyptologist. You know who knew who built the pyramids? Egyptologists.
No one knows, Dave.
No one knows. Nobody knows. There's no way to know. There's just literally no way to know.
Were you there?
Is it not possible?
Is it not possible?
The demons fucked Hebrews.
Not demons.
Their giant babies. Beautiful Nephilim babies built the pyramids. Paul, is that not possible?
I can't say that it's impossible.
Then there you go. End of discussion. I win.
Yeah.
Debate over.
Information that a lot of these other artists have provided. Like, for instance, Graham Hancock. He's written several books, and I think he sold about 5.5 million books. And
you know that theory how we in North America, we get kind of enamored by accents. Like, we will think that, like, Australian accents or British accents in particular, French accents, Spanish accents, a lot of those European accents, we kind of think that they're more authoritative than what we would have to say.
Well, I don't think anybody thinks that about Australian or Irish accents, but carry on.
No, okay. Well, maybe not Australian, but certainly I was going to say Irish in this particular case is not giving me that same...
No. Like, I would, I'm a heterosexual male, but I would kiss that man on the mouth just based on that accent alone.
Okay. Yes, but you would kiss
him. But
I
would not attend a university lecture.
Correct. That's the difference.
Would you unless it was on, potato sciences of some
right. You wouldn't want him as your oncologist, for example. You want him to be you want it to be your date, not your oncologist.
His famous blockbuster was Fingerprints of the Gods.
I have interviewed him many times.
Yeah, well, I don't think Graham knows who built the pyramids, and
he's crap. Art's all excited. I've interviewed him many times. Well, he's dumb.
All right, Paul, I'll read your comment. Isn't it not possible that it wasn't not aliens who weren't not lizard people from the planet Nibiru in conjunction with the Rand Corporation? Little Simpsons reference. I appreciate that. And the reverse vampires. Anyways, where was I? Drink.
Oh, man.
And I have to. You motherfucker.
Yep, you did the full,
you've paid $10.
Now, this is $10 Canadian, but I'm counting it. It's
well, where we both live.
Cheers to you, Paul. I'm drinking from my Oilers shot glass today. Okay.
Oh, shit. Whoa. How many drinks of this? At some point, Paul, I'm going to need you to go back and calculate how many drinks we've actually had tonight.
Well, I'm thinking the paramedics will also need to review the stream.
And also, Kenny Graham, thank you very much.
You can't ground your belief in Egyptians without first assuming alien pyramid builders who created the laws of logic. That makes total sense.
It's true.
How can you
have possibly thought of stacking rocks on other rocks unless you came from Alpha Centauri?
What is the ontology of geometry?
Isn't that the study of cancer?
No, ontology, Dave, you are not in on the apologetic.
It's true.
This is my problem, is that Dave,
my
friend, Dave knows many things about many things that I will never know about. But
big Battlestar Galactica fan.
That's correct. But the musings of the Christian apologist is not in Dave's purview, where Dave...
Oh, fuck. Cracking. Oh.
If you can't ground your senses in something, then you can't trust them. That is the thing. Ontology. Okay. All right.
I don't know what that means.
We already did that one.
We got to tell. Oh, Maynard saves. Look at you doing that again.
What was so bad in a person?
Oh.
Okay, let's read this out because it's a good point.
Can I read this one, please?
Yes, please, Dave.
What was so bad in a perfect place? Angels had to come down and peg the women on earth because they weren't fulfilled in heaven. Heaven sounds lame. You're not wrong, Maynard saves. If heaven's so amazing, why the angels got to come down and get them some strange on earth? You know what I'm saying?
Clearly, the Muslim heaven is not correct because if they have the 42 virgins.
But the angels ain't getting into that. So the angels are watching the martyrs with their 40 virgins, and meanwhile they're like, I've been
maybe that is the problem. Maybe the Muslim heaven is true, and they're just getting more and more frustrated.
Yeah.
The angels are the incels of the spiritual community.
Thank you for the donation, by the way, Maynard.
Thank you, Maynard. I already did my drink.
What I've done is I've taken a lot of information that authors such as this have provided. Provide the last few bits of the jigsaw puzzle to show who these people were, where they came from, where they got their astronomical and mathematical knowledge, where they got the incredible strength to construct these monuments, why they chose the pyramid shape, where they went, and also their role in our future because they're coming back.
All right. Okay, give me a sec here, Paul.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Okay, quick pause for Dave rant about ancient aliens and coast to coast, all of this. Is it just 100% presupposes that humans could never have figured this out on themselves? Geometric principles, how to build pyramids, how to do basic math, how to figure out the curvature of the earth or any of these things. Humans couldn't have figured this out. Aliens had to tell them because we're all so fucking stupid. What? We couldn't do this math. I mean, we can do it now and we could do it then and it was showing, but originally it had to be aliens that showed us. And it just drives me up the fucking wall that it's just presupposed that like, no. There's no way some human being, some person sitting there in their hut with camels could have possibly worked out Pythagoras' theorem or something like that.
Or even just like, how did they pick a triangle? No one invented.
Yeah, nobody could understand how triangles work. B.H. Bentzman.
Oh, 666
pounds.
66. No, but 666 is that blessed number. We're in the end times. If we ever get this far into the podcast, we will be talking about end times.
Thank you, friend.
God bless you, BH.
Paul, to the Queen.
To the Queen.
There may be an ocean separating us, Benjamin, but we have the same Queen.
That's a lot to say, Patrick, but first let me come back and tell you that while I was there, Zahi was, he thinks that I very much thought somebody else built the pyramids, and I have had those feelings as well. So he took me to the burial ground, Patrick, of the people who did build the pyramids, and there translated...
Art, this is interesting. So Art went to the burial ground of the people. I don't know how you would prove that the people who were buried there built the pyramids, but okay.
I mean, they had to be buried somewhere. Why not?
I guess so. You're a bigger fan of my interest in history is increased later in my life, shall we say? But you're a history. You've always loved history.
I've always loved history. I studied history. I don't have a history degree, but I did study history in university, and I've always had a abiding love of history. Yeah.
So you probably cringed there when I actually said that, oh, how do you prove blah blah blah? Because of course we all know when we're serious and sober that history is about coming up with the best explanation for things, not for proofs.
Well, that's exactly. And the farther you go back, so when you're getting back to the time of the pyramids, and like, it's super sketchy. Like, just to step outside and be like actual history, it's like you have theories. I mean, there's translated hieroglyphics about how the pyramids are built and went, but it's like it's all very. There's very little info. Even going to touching back, like the time of Jesus' life and later, it's like the records are incredibly spotty.
Right.
There's very little that you can know concrete about anything.
Those are fighting words, Dave. We know what Jesus said what he had for lunch.
Yeah. And it's like, so like taking Jesus, but it's like even like a very famous general or Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar is a good example, right? One of the most famous people in history. It's like you have the stuff he wrote about himself. How much can you trust that? Probably not a lot. He's writing it literally about himself. So obviously it's super skewed, but it's the only thing kind of we have for a bunch of his campaigns in France and Germany and things. So you're like, well, you kind of have to take that and just understand it's like, well, this is probably pretty skewed to his point of view, but we don't have any data to correspond on the other side. So this is the best we got to go on, and we'll just kind of go with that. And
that's why, why history as a younger lad always frustrated me. I was more of a hard science guy. So
yes, that's like, I've seen people, hello, John
Bauman.
One of my favorite episodes is Richard C. Hoagland on the face of Mars. I remember that episode, John. I literally remember that episode. It is a fantastic episode. Art pushes back hard on this one. It was refreshing. Yes. So that might be one we might have to do. We might have to add that to the list.
Add it to the list.
But yes, Art pushes back really hard on that one. It was, yes. Drink.
Cheers, John.
Because it's one of those ones where it's like they take pictures of Mars and it's like that, like, well, you can look at this and be like, it's this is like, I guess if you come into it already
if that's
thinking it's going to be this and looking, it's like you can, if you turn things right and squint, it's like, yeah, it matches up this, but it's like, no, this doesn't match up in any way. Like, it's one of those things where, if you go in with the bias that it has to be this and just look for data to what's the word I'm looking for? Confirm your bias.
So confirmation bias.
Where you're like, you have this idea in head and you just have this picture and you're like, I'm just going to scan the surface of Mars till I find the thing that matches the thing that I want. It's like, well, yeah, you'll fucking find it. It's a whole planet. There's going to be something where geological formations will match the dimensions of what you want. Whatever. I'm not going to get into
and it's like Bible code.
Art really pushes back hard on that one. That's a very good example of where Art's like, no, you're just going through this and finding, which is one of the things that, like I said, that made Art such a long-standing person, because he didn't just take everything whole cloth. He took a lot of things.
Right. He played the line between whichever line needed to be played. He was either credulous or incredulous, depending on the day.
It's the old. So, Paul and I are Canadian, so hockey analogies are going to happen. I apologize to any Americans that don't follow hockey, because every Canadian does. But it's like in the playoffs where they don't call penalties. But if you cross-check somebody right in front of the ref in playoffs, well, they're going to call you because you're doing it right in front of the ref.
Right.
So like Art Bell was kind of that. He was a playoff hockey ref. Where it's like, I'm going to let a lot of shit go. But it's like, if you do this, like, if you make me look stupid,
right?
Well, no, I'm going to call you on it. Where it's like, well, no, like what you're saying just like on face, like the face of what you're saying is it only lines up if you go in already believing this and cherry pick your facts.
Were you trying to say prima facie, but you were
prima facie? Yes, thank you, Paul. You're less drunk than I am.
Mm-hmm. If you want to believe the translations on the tombs of these people, there were specific inscriptions about the wives and the daughters and the men who worked on and built the pyramids. Dedicated to their wife and the job they did.
We're going to talk about Mel's Hole
building
later.
Okay.
Sorry, this is other Paul. He's talking about Mel's Hole, the episode of. Yeah.
The pyramids and all the rest of it, those graveyards are adjacent to Giza. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I've seen programs and I've seen the burial grounds and such like. But let's just fill in your listeners on a few of the facts concerning the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Yeah. You've been there and you saw the burial grounds. I've never been there, but let me just fill you in on the facts, Art. Vishanti writes.
Oh, Vishanti, why are you?
I request the Area 51 callers legendary.
It is.
Also drinking.
You are absolutely right. Vishanti is 100% correct. It is legendary.
This is a $10 one, so I got to break out the tequila again.
Vishanti, whatever pain you're feeling, I hope it is transitory and things get better soon, and you have nothing but joy and peace in your future.
Cheers.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, we got... Okay, well, let's do this one. We got Vishanti for 10.
Vishanti and Timothy Harmon.
No, we got to do separate. They're separate things.
They're separate things. Vishanti, this is for you. I hope
I'm sorry. This is excellent concern. I'm starting to worry about whether you two are going to be able to get up and go to church tomorrow morning.
That is it. I suspect, Timothy, that I will not. I will. True story. I was supposed to go to breakfast tomorrow morning with some people that Paul knows that I know. My friend Dave and some other people here in the city.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Eric. Do you remember Eric?
Yep, sure do.
Yep. We were supposed to go for breakfast tomorrow morning, and I already told them it's like, no, that ain't going to happen, buddies. Sorry, I'm not going for breakfast this weekend. We have a breakfast club. You know.
It's
80s.
Not as fun as the John Hughes Breakfast Club, but okay.
It's more fun than John Hughes.
Well, probably is more fun. Frankly, yeah. That John Hughes Breakfast Club is torture. So,
the place that I don't know. Do people know where you come from, Paul? I don't want to drop any names of cities.
So let's go with province only.
Province, okay. So the place in Saskatchewan I'm from has a wide variety of very good breakfast places, and I have a group of friends that we will meet, and every weekend have breakfast different places.
Dave is a big fan of the breakfasts.
Big fan of breakfast.
Because for some weird reason, I wish I could. I want to like eggs. Eggs seems like
there's a lot of breakfast things that don't involve eggs at all.
I know, but it's hard to get excited when like
you're all getting into mine and Paul's emotional baggage now. So whatever. Shannon, you're a bitch. Why?
Hey, drink. You've challenged me, good sir. I cannot allow that to stand.
I'm gonna, Shannon, for $5, I'm gonna finish off the rest of this glass that I've drank far too fast.
Yeah, I will finish.
God damn it, Paul! How far are we into the show now?
I don't know, like 15 minutes.
There's zero chance. Oh my god!
No, I was hoping we could get an hour in to the 2-hour show.
By the way, Shannon, I am very much like spring. I'm going to come out and visit you guys in spring. Hope to see you.
Oh, we could do Toast to Toast live with both of us in the same room.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody would want to see it, and they would give us a bunch of super chat tips to promote that, right?
Yeah. And
also, I work in sales. Fun fact, just in case people want to know that. So I will.
And then we'll tease it out a little bit.
Alrighty.
I have a few statistics here. First of all, the Great Pyramid of Giza originally was finished in a very smooth white limestone finish, and some people believe that the top of it, the pyramidion, was some legends say it was.
So obviously it can't be Egyptians because it's smooth limestone.
Yeah.
So
finished in gold.
You refer to the capstone, yes.
That's right, the capstone. Yeah. The Great Pyramid of Giza is an equilateral. Each side is an equilateral triangle that faces exactly to the true north, south, east, and west. And is that
no human has ever come up with equilateral triangles. Also,
or been able to like accurately measure true north or west or east.
Right. These are things that. Yeah.
To put in 0.001 of a degree.
Okay.
Each side, the length of the base of one of the sides of the pyramids in cubits is 365.2422 cubits, which is the exact length of a solar year, including the extra.
Oh, whoa. Wait, what?
Good reference, Vishanti. Good reference. Yeah.
No. Wait, first, what's a solar year? What the hell is a solar year?
He's not wrong. A solar year technically is different by a very, very small margin. A solar year is different from our actual calendar year. which is why every now and then we have to correct our like New Year's will be like
we have leap seconds and leap minutes and all
leap seconds, leap minutes, and sometimes they'll just like throw in time to correct the calendar, right? Where it's like it's New Year's and we're gonna have a 10-second like gap into
A cubit is literally like from your shoulder, like it's from a shoulder to the point on your fingers, like that's a cubit.
And for whoever was king at that particular time.
Yeah, like and understood that your cubit, Dave, and my cubit are not the same.
No. Well, there is an actual but an actual cubit is there's a definite cubit.
Well, there was at the time, but we don't know what the fuck it was.
But we do know the Egyptian. Okay, so like aside from, I'm gonna get into history now. So like the Egyptians were actually fucking good at math, like really good at math, as were the ancient Greeks, and they. This gets into like flat Earth and a bunch of stuff, but like they had a bunch of shit figured out. They knew the curvature of the Earth within a surprisingly accurate degree. They knew what true north was. They knew a lot of things that they
true north.
Do I have my? Oh no, I don't have the right shirt on. I have an Elsinore brewery shirt. Anyways, somebody recognized it the other day, and I was very happy. That is Strange Brew. They recognized it. But anyways, the Egyptians, they had a lot of shit figured out. There's a lot of stuff you can figure out. Like their mathematics were incredibly advanced. They were very smart. They knew a lot of stuff. They'd figured out a lot of things just by observing stars, they did experiments where they're like, well, we put a point here and we put a post there. We measure the shadows of both of them at the exact same time of day. And we can see where the shadows are and we can figure out where the sun is, relative to the earth and what the curvature of the earth is. Like they figured this shit out because they were very good at math. And so, and whatever. Anyways, let's listen to this Nephilim guy completely dismiss all of the genius of these early Egyptian mathematics because demon babies.
That's demon babies built the ark. Yep.
Fraction for the leap.
Not the ark, the pyramids.
By the way, for people who don't know, Nephilim are the spawn of angels / demons and humans. Am I wrong in that, Paul? That's the
so interestingly, so if you're wanting to get deep into the Hebrew, so it's actually sons of men. It's sons of men went down, and so you have to figure out whether you think that sons of men means the anyway. Yes, traditionally it means that angels came down and had sex with women and had babies, and both before and after the flood, which is problematic because the Irish gentleman speaking today is speaking of the ones that came down after the flood.
We should probably get what's his actual name? We should look it up. We should.
I knew 5 minutes ago, and now it's gone.
Hello, Heather. Heathen Queen. My apologies.
Heather, it's Jess. Hello, Jess. Paul hasn't had me on his channel. Jess, you've been on this channel twice now.
Because you're not physically attractive enough.
No.
Sorry. I apologize. That's the drink speaking. Heathen Queen,
Heathen Queen has been on my channel twice. Once because I woke her up. I literally woke her up at like 2 a.m. I did a stream where I was editing video and it got too boring. And I'm like, I'm too boring by myself. And I woke her up and got her out of bed and said, come on the stream to entertain the people.
Can I tell a story about our past, Paul? Speaking of waking up.
Fine.
With no details.
Fine.
So there was one time, I don't remember when this was, maybe 25 years ago.
Comic-Con.
So my dad, who Paul knows well, thought it was funny. I had been out drinking the night before with friends, and I was working for Paul at the time, and he'd come over to talk.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah. This was Beagle days.
Yep.
And you came over to my house, and my dad's like, "Oh yeah, just go down and say hi to him." I was sleeping in a bedroom in the basement. I had been out drinking. I was super wrecked, and this is like 9 a.m. on like Saturday, and Paul just comes into my bedroom and like turns on the light because he doesn't know it's my room. He doesn't know anything about it. And I am like, so the light turns on and I'm woken up and I have no idea what's going on. My boss is in my bedroom who doesn't know it's my bedroom. He's as confused as I am. We're both standing there and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And just so disoriented and so blown out of my mind. This man is in my room and I am probably kind of hungover, even though I don't really get hangovers. And he's there. This is that's the person who raised me. Anyways, my dad's an asshole. That's what I'm kind of trying to get to. I love him, but he thought this was hilarious. That Paul came over to my door and wanted to ask me something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he's awake. Just go down there and like talk to him." And he turned on the lights, and it woke me up, and didn't know whatever. And he thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
Yep. And I didn't fire you on the spot, so that was nice of me.
You should have probably.
So Dave, for reference, if we ever have a third guest on Toast to Toast, Heathen Queen will be my first choice.
Yes,
Heathen Queen is our people.
I don't know you, Heathen Queen, but I would like to.
Yeah, Heathen Queen is our kind of people.
Hopefully someday.
All right. We have another one from
Jennifer.
Oh, we got to break out the big guns for Jennifer.
The harp has already disappeared, so I guess it's time for Halo.
Solar year is the time it takes for the Earth to return to the same position relative to the sun. That you two don't remember that and made fun. Honestly, sons of God, not angels.
I don't want to. Did they mention solar years at some point?
Yes. So that was in my fairness, what I was just laughing.
Jennifer, I apologize, but in my defense, I've had an awful lot to drink in a very short time.
My laughter at the guest was that he was talking about solar years as calculated via cubit, when cubit is such an arbitrary.
Right. Yes.
Cubit is such an arbitrary measurement in and of itself. You can come up with pretty much anything you want and make it match pretty much anything you want. But Jennifer, cheers. Both Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer and Jess. Ugh.
I hope someday we get to meet in person, Jennifer.
Okay, have I missed any super chats? Oh, shoot, I did. Heathen Queen.
Heathen Queen.
You want to discuss looks? Let's go. Wow.
I've got a pretty good look going on today. I got my flower shirt. Got my Cthulhu astronaut t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it.
Heathen Queen.
I'm fucking silent profiling.
Heathen Queen uses her hair driving. Heathen Queen uses her hair to express her hair color to express her
Heathen Queen
personality.
Looks like a fucking boss.
Heathen Queen is a boss, and she is best known for taking zero shits. Whereas Heathen Queen are yin and yang. I will generally give people a lot of grace in order to make a point in the long run. Heathen Queen calls out bullshit immediately in an extremely way that is counter to my personality.
Paul is, so for people who won't know this, I don't consider Paul a friend. Paul is my brother. Paul's family to me. But he's weak as shit. And it just, it disgusts me.
Are you calling me beta? Are you calling me beta?
I mean, he's got a goddamn live, laugh, love. He's drinking pumpkin spice lattes. No. He double fists them. It's disgusting.
Black coffee, bitches. Black coffee. Yes, Dave. This is the problem with having Dave on my channel. Is Dave has known me longer than anyone who's not related to me.
Yeah.
So
it's true. It is true. When it would have been 1990, I think we first met. 89, 90.
Do you care to describe yourself at the point at which we met?
Oh, I mean, I found, so somebody, I'm not going to throw any names. Somebody found a class picture of me from like that era and sent it to me. I don't know if I sent it to you. It's like, so school picture. I had like, it's everything about me. I was wearing sweatpants because I didn't.
You wore sweatpants every day.
I know.
Every day.
Around my neck. There's a lot of, Theodore, why don't need a drink? I used to be a picture of Paul, just wanted to send a bit more. Theodore, but you spent the $10, so I feel morally obligated that I have to drink.
Yeah, I'm going to, because Theodore, I remember you as a Patreon. Welcome back.
We appreciate it. Tell you what is it okay if I have a drink of this beer instead of the Kraken? Because
yeah,
but I'm really starting to feel we gotta slow down at some point.
So just FYI, Dave, Shannon asked me at what point did we become friends as opposed to, like, I was your mentor versus...
Yes. Yeah.
I started as your mentor. This is not for now, but for at some point in the future, we should... I'm actually curious as to what point we shifted from mentor, mentee to friend.
It's hard to say.
I think it was on the Florida. I think it was on the Florida trip, but we'll save it for another time.
I would say it's before that, but because we started playing Risk before that, and I let you into my Risk games before that. Yeah, like I played Risk with you and Curtis and stuff before that, and like that's kind of to me in my mind, and that's and there was a gift I gave you. There was a V figurine, or pop figure.
I remember.
You let me. It's all kind of tied in. We came to Risk. You gave me these VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And in my mind, that's when we became friends. And I gave Paul a pop Funko fig that was a V figurine from the 1980s V series. And it's tied into that, and whatever. This was a gift. I've known, there it is, right there.
It's on my shelf. I know it's a blurred background, but it's on my shelf.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know if we want to rotate. I've known Paul for a very long time. 89.
Yeah, this is the danger of having you on, is that you can expose me in ways that others can't. But
yeah, and I'm not gonna.
All right. Looniality writes, Lure Reality writes, I'm vulnerable to super chat suggestion right now, but I can't bring myself to get you drunker anymore, no matter how hilarious.
666, the mark of the beast, is still going to get us drunker because I'm
Cheers.
Still going to drink this. We're never going to finish this fucking thing, Paul.
No, well, that's what this. I think we need to. There will probably be a part 2 of this Nephilim, but
at some point we need to figure out. Okay, so we need to set like a super chat level of like $50 or something, where it's like Dave reveals secret of Paul's past.
Oh, not for today, but maybe in future episodes.
Future. I've known Paul literally longer than I think anybody he currently associates with.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I mean, you obviously still know your parents.
But anyone I'm not blood related, anyone I'm not blood related to, you go deepest into my history.
This is okay. We don't need it, but like I literally think of Paul as my brother. I don't think of him as a friend. I think of him as family. Paul is my. Sometimes we won't talk to each other for months, but when we do talk, it's just like it's fine. Paul's my brother. Paul has been there for me. Paul and I have seen each other at our worst and our best. And we still love each other, and we still know each other. We have a very good understanding of who each person is, flaws and highlights and everything in between. And if you are lucky enough to find a friend like that in your life, you're doing pretty good. That's what I say about Paul. If you can find a friend like that in your life, you're better than most people, because a lot of people don't find a Paul in their life, a friend in their life.
I heartily agree, and I will save some of my emotions for future times. But anyway,
Lake Louise, Banff. Yes.
My 9th grade church group went to Calgary in 1990. Oh, Dave was living in. No, you weren't. You were in.
No, in 1990 I was in South. I was not in Calgary at that time, or Lake Louise.
You
grew
up in Calgary, though.
I am a Calgary. I am a Lake Louise, Calgary kid. Yeah.
Lake Louise, Banff, and the West Edmonton Mall, Great Water Park, North American Baptist Convention. So I would
whatever. Tornado came through and killed a bunch of people because God doesn't like them. Edmonton sucks.
So
the Oilers suck. The Oilers.
The Oilers is what I'm drinking out of tonight. The Oilers are. This is one rare piece of Dave and I do not agree on hockey teams.
No. But Paul's daughter and I very much agree on hockey teams.
No, you don't. My daughter is.
Oh no,
my daughter's an Oilers fan.
Well, that's fucking bullshit. I'll talk to her.
Sorry, no. No, my children are all
fucking McDavid.
My children are in line lockstep with me on sports teams.
I'll fix it.
Yeah. All right, that was a drink though. We should have drank, right? Was that
I can't remember the name of the person who gave us the.
That was Maynard again.
Maynard.
$5. So cheers,
Maynard, who is apparently desperate to kill me of alcohol poisoning tonight.
That's correct. All right, we need to get back to Art Bell.
Yeah,
and let's talk about
this emotional
apology. The angle of the slope of the Great Pyramid is 10 to 9. That is, for every 10 feet you go up the side of the pyramid, you rise in altitude by 9 feet. And if you take the height of the Great Pyramid and multiply it by 10 to the power of 9, you get 91,840,000, which is the exact distance from the Earth to the Sun in miles.
If you take this number and multiply it by an arbitrary number, it gets you to a third arbitrary number.
But, aside from all that, the Egyptians knew it. They knew roughly how far apart the Earth and the Sun was. The Greeks knew how far the Earth was from the Sun. People knew this. It's measurable. It's understandable. You don't need goddamn fucking aliens to explain it. Anyways, whatever. I'm not going to go off. Hello, Heathen Queen.
So that might be true.
We literally have, because we have shared hotel rooms. Paul and I also used to own a comic publishing company. There's multiple times Paul and I have shared hotel rooms.
Yes, and where you have decided that towels were optional. I will say that you decided the towels were.
Oh fuck! Someone's making us drink again.
Uh-oh.
You can go to hell.
No, that's not again.
Maynard saves. Red Wings can fucking suck it.
Yes, Detroit, baby, huh? Well, I will.
When the last time Detroit was relevant? 1997?
When Steve Yzerman left there for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Ooh, whoop, whoop.
All right, but Maynard, we appreciate the $5.
We do. Maynard, I sincerely hope that I get to meet you someday. I really do. I would love to have a chat with you.
What was the name of the Russian who played for the Red Wings? Although, Fedorov.
Yes, Fedorov. I mean, there was 3 or 4 Russians. That was the whole thing because they would always disappear in the playoffs, and they always talked about
right. But
Fedorov was
but that was the last time the Red Wings.
Yes.
That was the last time the Red Wings were in the conversation, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Octopuses and everything.
Yep. Although big Gordie Howe fan. I'm a big Gordie Howe fan, so I can never say anything really bad about Gordie.
The Great Pyramid of Giza is situated at the exact dead center of the world, halfway between the northern tip of Norway.
Every place is the dead center of the world if you're just that arbitrary. Dead center of the world? It's a sphere.
Wait, Paul, let him finish it.
Let him finish. Cape of Good Hope of South Africa, and halfway between the west coast of Mexico and the east coast of China. And it intersects the 30th parallel, both latitude and longitude.
So he's just literally picking spots on the globe. That's it's in the middle of these spots. It's yeah. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? The east coast of China, Mexico, the South Africa and like South Africa wasn't a thing in 5000 BC when the pyramids were built. It was nothing.
Is he expecting that it would be unusual that the Egyptians would build a pyramid in Egypt?
It's like definitely not the point between the North and South Pole.
No.
Good. Anyway. There are two shafts, what they call star shafts, on the north face and on the south face of the Great Pyramid, which pointed forward.
Also, by the way, I promise he gets to the Bible stuff. He does get to the Bible stuff. I don't know if we will get to the Bible stuff, but
I apologize. I'm stopping this.
Four distinct star signs: Draco, Ursa Minor, Sirius, and Orion.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough stone in the Great Pyramid to build a 6-foot wall from New York to Los Angeles, and if it were a skyscraper, it would be.
Donald Trump would have loved that.
42 stories high. So for over 5 millennia, the Great Pyramid was the tallest building in the world by, a huge amount. Now, the solution to the mathematical problem of how to square the circle is incorporated within the geometry.
Wait, how to square the circle?
I just want to throw out back. Let me look up. There was was Eric something threw a comment out, but how he listened to Coast unironically, and it's like, I also listened to Coast unironically. Like, I didn't listen to it just to, yeah, but someday you'll see Paul naked too, Shannon. I also listened to Coast unironically. Like, as much as I make fun of this and go, it was. I
thought it was great as a Christian. When I was a Christian, I thought this was an amazing show.
I genuinely enjoyed these discussions about, like, well, what if it's something that's completely outside of what we accept as the Eric. Cheers, Tampa Bay Lightning. Fuck you. Fuck the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well,
you're a wonderful person, Eric. I love you, and I hope someday we get to meet in person and have it. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Why am I blanking on the name of their GM right now?
In Tampa?
Yeah,
I don't know the name.
No, it's the Detroit, longtime Detroit Red Wing All-Star.
Oh, no, I don't know.
No, okay. I acknowledge the rules.
I'm way too drunk to remember things.
The rules of this show are we're allowed to Google things. So Tampa Bay Lightning.
Eric, you are the best.
I'm gonna be embarrassed as soon as it's GM. What
people just want to see us die of alcohol poisoning? Is that what this is?
Tampa Bay Lightning. Why can't I remember? This is good television.
How many people are watching us right now, Paul?
Like 200-ish.
200 people. I mean, I'm pretty, but I'm not that pretty, so they must be here for you.
Okay, well, I've lost it now, but the Detroit Red Wing star, who's now currently the GM at the Tampa Bay.
Take a shot of tequila. Paul?
I'm taking a shot, and it's really,
Is that a full shot? Because it doesn't look like it's up to the line. I'm looking at that glass.
It's all the way up to the Oilers logo. Come on.
There's a line in there. I feel like you're shortchanging your supporters.
Fine.
It would be that high. Everybody?
All right. Okay.
Apologia doesn't respect you. I do. I'm taking full shots.
Cheers to the Perth Thunder.
God fucking damn it, Fred Harvey.
I don't know who the Perth Thunder are. Perth is in Australia. I spent time in Australia when I watched episode 2 being filmed there. Star Wars episode 2. Jar Jars.
Did you see fairly recently one of Han Solo's blasters from the original trilogy went on auction for very large amounts of money?
Oh. I did the wrong thing there.
Oh my God. I'm so... Cheers to Perth Thunder. That'll confuse the heck out of you. I mean, I know where Perth is, and I assume Thunder is a team that practices in Perth. Australian rules football, I'm going to say. Yes, that's Han Solo's blaster.
This is my Han Solo blaster that I got when I was, for working for the George Lucas thing.
He worked for George Lucas. So all of you can fuck right off.
Nope. Uh-oh. Heathen Queen.
We don't have to drink. Does Julian Brisbois mean anything to you, Paul?
No, it does not.
Heathen Queen, you are amazing. Thank you for the $2. I don't know what that name means. Presumably somebody whose pants are trying to get him?
I'm not trying to get into anyone's pants.
No, Heathen Queen.
Heathen Queen, maybe.
Anyways, I look forward to meeting you in person. I think
Heathen Queen,
like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna just not talk about that right now. All right, fair enough. Let's go back to Art Bell.
Of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Yes, what we are asked to believe, Art, and what historians and Egyptologists have told us is that primitive man, wandering in the desert.
Egyptologists have told us, Dave.
Yes.
Dressed in animal skin, somewhere between the Stone Age and the Bronze Age, built this incredible pyramid, which we couldn't build today, by the way, and somehow these same architects and builders hadn't yet figured out how to invent the wheel.
Well, I will give you this. Although Zahi Hawass and others believe the Egyptians built the pyramids, asked how they did it, he doesn't have the slightest idea.
Stop. Just the supposition that, we couldn't figure this out today. We couldn't figure out how to build this today. What the fuck are you talking about? Have you seen the shit that we've built today? Have you seen the rail lines, the various monuments, the things? You think we don't fucking know how to build a goddamn pyramid? It's a triangular stack of rocks. Rocks. We can build it. We know how to build it. We know how to build things so much past. We don't need angel human babies to tell us how to build a goddamn equilateral triangle. We know how to do it. We know how to do it. It's really not that complicated. The only difficult part is building, something 100 feet high, because you need people to drag giant blocks. But now we have hydraulics and machines and all kinds of things. We can do it very easy. We can do things so much more impressive. You know what we did? We landed on the moon. 1969, we landed on the moon. You know what was more impressive than building the goddamn pyramid? Landing on the fucking moon. We did it. Anyways, sorry, Paul.
Yeah, it's all right.
He has no idea.
And when you see documentaries about them building the pyramids, you always see these bunches of slaves dragging huge stones and blocks along on wooden pallets, and somebody pouring water.
Because the documentaries have the footage of the Hebrews doing all this.
That's actually, historically, it's an interesting point. It almost for certain wasn't slave labor. It was probably skilled labor. Same as the Roman Colosseum and a lot of things, where it would have been people who were paid by the government who knew what they were doing. It's not unlike plumbers or electricians now. It was a skilled labor position to get the right shape and size of stone and get it over. And there are records that show payments to blah, blah, blah to do this. It was not a slave, it wasn't a bunch of slaves doing this. It was actual, there were certainly slaves involved because slavery was pretty much universal for the physical laborers, but the cutting the stones, the placing the stones, no, there were actual, Egyptians involved, Romans involved,
and that was Art Bell's point, right? Art was I went here, I saw the graveyards of people who the inscriptions on their tombs say they worked on this stuff.
Yes. Yeah. There's a ton of historical evidence, archaeological evidence of the people who were involved. Thank you very much, Heathen Queen. For $2, I'm not drinking.
No, that's not who I'm thinking.
And I'm definitely not drinking to the goddamn Tampa Bay Lightning.
Who am I thinking of? Who is the Red Wings All-Star? I've derailed your conversation.
Oh, I see a note here from Silver Harlow. Dave, you were close about ancient aliens, but note they aren't invoked to explain the Colosseum or the Pantheon or aqueducts. They're only used to explain the accomplishments of brown people. I mean, you're not 100% wrong there, Silver. That's, yeah. Because white people can do this. Brown people, oh no. Since no white people are around to tell them how to do it, it must have been aliens. Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about like Aztecs and stuff now?
Yeah, or the various Indian or incredible.
Oh, well, that's a $10. I gotta top off my.
Holy shit! So thank you very much for the mention, Silver Harlow. But also, now I have to take another drink of the Kraken. Okay, we've reached the point where this is getting hard to pour.
And Elizabeth Chris says history is fun, which I agree with. History is fun.
Oh, cheers to you. Cheers. Everybody. Oh, I have to take another one for Elizabeth.
And then we also have a Steve Eiserman. Thank you, Steve Eiserman.
Stevie I.
I'm looking for Steve Eiserman, left Tampa Bay for Detroit. Thank you, Matt. You have saved my night. I appreciate you so much.
I don't know
Stevie
if you've heard this, but hockey is a big deal.
Good Canadian kid. He played for Team Canada in the Canada Cup series alongside Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. Stevie Y, good Canadian boy, but now with Tampa. Is he must have moved up from GM in Tampa Bay. He's still at Tampa Bay. He must not be GM anymore.
Isn't he like president of hockey operations or
perhaps?
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt Knowles. You have cleared my mind, and I know we've disrupted whatever Dave was saying about history.
It doesn't matter.
In the way, which was totally ridiculous. I mean, when you look at the incredible engineering feats, I mean, the Great Pyramid of Giza consists of around 2.3 million stone blocks weighing an average of 2.5 tons each. There are huge granite stocks within stones or blocks within the chambers inside the Great Pyramid that weigh up to 100 tons and are at heights of 60 yards up in the air.
Yes.
You know, so it's a little incongruous to believe. As I say, the solution to the mathematical problem of how to square the circle is incorporated.
He keeps saying squaring the circle, which is not what he thinks it means. Like, squaring the circle is literally like the definition of a circle and the definition of a square are incompatible.
I just watched Princess Bride like a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I don't think that word means what you think
it means. So when philosophers talk about squaring the circle, they're talking about like incompatible. Just by definition, the definition of a circle is a shape that, you know, has a consistent diameter or consistent radius, depending on how you look at it. A square has four. You cannot square a circle definitionally. And my dog is barking, so I'm going to leave. Now we're going to play this a bit, Dave, and you can talk.
The geometry of the Great Pyramid. Now, if you gave me a compass and a pen, I don't think I'd be able to figure out this. And yet these same people hadn't figured out yet how to invent the wheel. That's a bit like saying that if you give a screwdriver to a chimpanzee, he's going to be able to construct a television for you.
Yes. So you believe instead the pyramids were constructed by whom?
Well, they definitely weren't constructed by primitive man. Let me give you one other example of a place not far up the road from the Great Pyramid of Giza called the Temple of Jupiter at Lebanon. It's in Baalbek in Lebanon. And the Temple of Jupiter looks like a typical Greek temple with all the various columns. Except when you get in and look at the foundation blocks, it's got 3 huge hewn stone foundation blocks that weigh 800 tons each. That's 2.5. That's the weight of 2.5 jumbo jets together.
Yes.
7 persons.
Did you have comments there? I let it keep rolling.
No, there's nothing.
Keep it going.
Okay. Together.
Patrick, I do have a question, actually, that falls in between, and that is, what similarities do we see, Patrick, between the Great Pyramid and pyramids that we find elsewhere in the world? Because bear in mind, folks, this was at a time when there was not worldwide communication, really, of any sort. So pyramids all around the world. What are the similarities between them?
Well, a lot of, I mean, if you look at the pyramids in Mexico,
turn into an AHL hockey.
Thank you, Matt. That's an excellent cover. I
Matt
didn't know that.
Knowles.
Wait,
Paul, why does the name Knowles? Oh, it was Ain't It Cool News.
Ain't It Cool News with
Yeah. I assume no relation, Matt. Nothing to.
Yeah. With
but yes, Harry Knowles.
Harry Knowles, who also was in the movie Fanboys.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
That's back. That's how partially Harry Knowles is partially involved with how I got my job at Lucasfilm. So that's interesting. But anyway, yes, I didn't realize that he left Tampa. Really? Like, so Iserman's back in Detroit? I did not know that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, why does Detroit suck so much then?
Well, there's a lot of reasons that we're not going to get into.
I don't mean the city. I mean a hockey team, but fine.
This is not a hockey podcast.
Since they look very similar to the pyramids in Egypt. So are we to believe that the primitive Egyptians, after they finished doing the job over in Egypt, that they hopped into a boat, a couple of thousand of them, and sailed all the way over to Mexico and then constructed these fantastic pyramids down there?
It is it is quite a mystery indeed, as you look around the world.
Sure, go for it.
The weather situation
Squaring
that
a
maybe
circle means to construct a square with the same area as the given circle using only a straight edge and compass. A feat proven impossible in the 19th century with the proof that pi is transcendental.
Is that accurate?
I have no fucking idea, Paul. No idea at all.
Wait, okay. Let me straight edge and goes.
But somebody paid $20 to say it. And
okay, so that means we have to drink before I get my dog back in. Hold on,
Holy fuck, Paul! Like, I have drank entire bottles of rum on multiple occasions, and tonight is challenging me.
Well, you knew what you were signing up for.
I did. Kate.
So squaring the circle, I still feel like squaring the circle is intended to be one of these things where
this is for your followers.
Doing impossible. To my followers, I appreciate all of you.
You're amazing people.
Cheers.
Thank you very much for following. We appreciate the support. I hope someday I get to meet all of you in person.
Because of crop circles being linked to electromagnetic.
Oh no! Did this get reset somehow?
Did it just jump way, way, way back?
In the Apocalypse, it says that this pit of the abyss is going to be opened once more, and these.
I think I jumped
out of heaven, and this city is called the New Jerusalem, and it describes it in great detail.
Close
and
enough.
At the end of the description of this city, it gives us the dimensions of it. It says its length and its breadth and its height is the same. In other words, it's a pyramid in shape, and it's this future pyramid city that is.
So heaven will be a pyramid.
Heaven will be a square. I'm gonna just stop you there because the Book of Revelations is quite clear.
So length and width and height being the same. As a big jump to being a pyramid.
Yeah. Mr. Monster, what the fuck?
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Don't. You're fantastic. I love you. I hope we get to meet in person someday. I'm going to drink this, even though I don't want to. Paul, I've reached a point where I don't want to drink anymore.
I've never heard you say that before.
You've never heard me say that.
Nope.
But holy shit.
All right. Well, we're coming on 2 hours for the show. So we'll see how this goes.
In detail at the end of the apocalypse that gives the answer to the riddle as to why the pyramids were built in Egypt and Mexico and elsewhere in the first place. But we'll get to that later on, Art.
All right.
Okay, so just to finish off on that temple of Jupiter in Lebanon, by the way, lying out on the ground not very far away from the temple of Jupiter in Baalbek in Lebanon is another huge stone square block, which is 1,000 tons weight. Now, that's 3 jumbo jets together. We don't possess a machine in the world today that can move that. Yet we're asked to believe that primitive man with a little hammer.
We have many machines that can move that. Yes, that's
1,000 tons is nothing. It is nothing. I've worked in construction for many years.
Yeah, you did.
1,000 tons is fucking nothing. We move that all the time. Anyways. Move on,
hew this thing out and then threw a rope around it and dragged it somehow. And yet we would find it very difficult to duplicate such a building today. So there's something else going on. That's the point.
Yeah, and also, it's one.
I love Heathen Queen, and she's calling you out. She's usurping Dave in my hierarchy of friends. You don't want to drink. Sounds pretty soft to me.
Oh, I'm truly drunk now, which does not happen that often.
I don't know. Jeff wants to take your place, Dave.
Oh fuck! My chair just broke.
You don't have enough super chats to cover your chair.
No, that's
and here's right. $5 to drink some water. Oh, you can drink some water, Dave.
Hey, that is Webb. I sincerely hope we get to meet in person because you are my new favorite person. Because you're absolutely right. I'm 44 years old. I don't need this, this amount of alcohol in my life. My doctor would have comments.
You can't be 44 because that makes me older than that.
Let's not talk about that, Paul.
No, let's not talk about that.
Friday is my birthday.
Yes, it is.
It is that birthday.
Yes, it is.
Next year will be 45. My parents have asked, so probably not getting married. Huh? It's like, no, probably not. Sorry.
Wait. Your parents?
It's like
parents literally asked
all the grandkids on my sister's side. Paul knows my sister.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's just focus on those grandkids because there's probably not any happening on this side.
I'll refrain. Your family dynamic doesn't need to be part of our show today.
No. We get along. I get along well with my family.
No, but also your sister. I love your sister as well. Like your sister.
She's a piece of work.
So I haven't spoken to your sister in probably 10 years. So like your sister as of 10 years ago was, a good person.
She's still whatever.
Moving on.
I'm not going to get into it here now.
One that those in Egypt can't answer. I went down the same path. Really, I did with Zayawas, and he simply could not answer. He said, "What you see is impossible. I have no idea how it was done." But he says, "I can assure you it was done by Egyptians." But since he cannot explain how, I think that all bets are kind of off, Patrick, until he can.
Absolutely. I mean, the Egyptians tell us that it was built by a pharaoh called Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops. Now, Khufu reigned for 23 years, and with at least 2 million blocks incorporated in the building of the Great Pyramid of Giza, in order to finish the job in his 23-year reign, they would have to move a block into place every 5 minutes to complete the job in his 23 years. Now, I don't know about over there.
What do you need?
Why am I the only person on screen?
I was rescuing my dog.
Oh.
Come here, Bella. Come here.
How's Bella doing?
She's good.
Holy fuck, I haven't been this drunk for a good while. Hey, Bella. I'm allergic to dogs, by the way. So Paul's dog has always been an issue for me.
True. All right, so we may need
Here's
to call
the grand what's the word, Paul? I love dogs, but I'm allergic to dogs.
You are allergic to dogs.
Yeah, but I love dogs. I literally love dogs. I love hanging around with dogs. I love playing with dogs. I love letting dogs bite me. It's a, great. Yeah.
All right.
There in the California art, but when the local county council or the corporation go out and dig a hole in the road outside my house and then do some work and finish it and fill it in again, it usually takes them like weeks, if not months.
Yes.
So it's a little incongruous to believe that these guys, these primitive men, were able to build the Great Pyramid without the use of a wheel or pulleys or machines of any description.
Yes, it's a puzzle.
There's no reason why the Egyptians didn't have wheels and pulleys.
They didn't, Paul. They didn't understand the very simple geometrical progressions.
So who then do you believe did build them?
Well, I believe it was built by the Nephilim. Now, the Nephilim, there's a lot of information about these guys buried in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. There's information about them as well. And nobody ever dug it up.
We're finally at the Bible, Dave. You and I are...
With Nephilim. How far into this broadcast are we?
I don't know. You and I are wrecked, and we're like 19 minutes in, 19:14.
19 goddamn minutes. There's like an hour and a half to go.
Yeah.
We're going to die. We're going to die.
They finally got to the Bible part of the Bible.
Paul, we're going to die tonight.
Yeah, no, we're not going to die tonight. We're going to end the stream at some point.
Okay.
Put it together before. And the word Nephilim is a Hebrew word. It comes from the nephal, meaning to fall. So these are what you and I would call fallen angels, because they fell to earth, fell from grace, and fell from heaven. Now, I don't like the word angel, Art, because as soon as you mention the word angel...
Cheers, Jess. I'm going to pour a drink just for you.
Hey, the Queen.
I'm drinking... pouring another drink while we listen to more. We finally have got to the Old Testament, which you would agree is the cool part of all this stuff.
People get a mind picture of a little cherubim with no genitalia and a bow and arrow going around trying to shoot you in the heart. Yeah. Or else they think of some guy with 20-foot wings and a big spotlight behind them and probably angelic music in the background.
That's right.
But when you go and study the appearance of these guys throughout the scriptures, by the way, the Hebrew word for angel is malak, and the Greek word is agelos, and a better translation would be messenger or agent. And when you study the appearance of these guys, and that word appears over 300 times in Scripture, they always appear as men. They look like men. They're dressed like men. They've been mistaken as men. They have eyes, ears, nose. They eat, they drink, excuse me. And apparently they can have sex with women. And we're told in Genesis 6:4 that these men, now the difference is that they're spirit men. You and I are flesh and blood. These guys are spirit, whatever that is.
The spirit men are having sex with people, Dave.
Well, Paul, if you're going to have sex with somebody, might as well be a spirit man. You know what your problem is, Paul?
What's that?
You have been having sex with physical entities your entire life. Every sexual encounter you had has been with a physical person. Stupid. Wasteful. You should have been having sex with a spiritual entity. Now, the bad side is that this would have given rise to a Nephilim, but in immediate,
No, but I feel like the Nephilim are all male. In like, according to the expert on the show here, all the Nephilim are male. There's no female Nephilim.
Look, your kids are all male. Don't judge them for that. Just, fucking angel and enjoy that. Don't get super hung up on what's going to happen later.
Fair enough.
It is. We don't know what spirit is, but it transcends the boundaries of physical science. And these guys fell to earth in the dim, distant past some 5,500 years ago.
They were cast out, were they not?
They were cast out, but there was a lot of them cast out, but these guys particularly seem to have become manifested in the realm of the physical. And I think it says in a couple of places that they left their first estate, which appears to...
When your expert guess is, I think it's a couple places. That's a really good sign. I don't know. I think it's
yeah.
Indicate that they couldn't go back there when they became manifested in the realm of the senses, as it were. And it says they had sex with ordinary women and produced this very evil, violent off-breed that were great in size and height. And this is where you get all your Greek and Roman and Egyptian mythology from. The gods came down.
So all your Greek and Roman mythology comes from Nephilim having sex with women.
Yeah.
So to be fair, so Nephilim, so again, so angels fallen angels come down, have sex with women. Those babies are called Nephilim. And those angel babies are what gave rise to all the Greek and Roman myths.
Yeah.
Down from heaven. They lived in Mount Olympus in Delphi. Zeus came down. He took Alcmene to wife, a mortal woman, and she almost died giving birth to Hercules. That's where all this stuff comes from. Now, you know, you might...
This is what blows my mind is that as a Christian, like this is a gentleman who considers himself to be fully Christian.
Yeah.
Fully in orthodoxy, even though Art Bell noticed early on that, wait, you're not attached to a denomination? That's weird. And but yeah, he considers all the Greek and Roman pantheons of gods to be correct. Like all those stories are accurate. They're just attributed to kids of the Nephilim.
Yeah, you know, like the Bible says.
The Bible says.
Or a lot of people would say, well, that's just mythology. It's like legend. But
yes, it is for many people, Patrick, more difficult to believe than the Egyptians somehow coming upon some way to build the pyramids that we have not yet discovered. I mean, it's more outrageous in some ways, and I wonder how you come to believe it.
Well, I mean, any historian will tell you, Art, that mythology has its genesis and its basis in truth and in fact.
Probably.
It's just that the stories have been distorted somewhere as they've come down through the centuries. And the point is that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of these buildings all over the world from primordial times that there's just no accounting for. Even here in Ireland, we've got a place called Newgrange, which is a big round stone mound with a passage into it, and once a day on the 21st of December, the winter solstice, the sun shines in and illuminates the inner chamber. And this is an incredible building, just one day in the year. So the builders of that obviously knew of celestial things and dates.
And where is that in Ireland?
It's just about 30 miles from Dublin. It's just 3/4 of an hour away from where I live here. And not just Newgrange, there's hundreds of other dolmens, souterrains, cairns, huge stones on top of one another, other stone configurations all over this country. And invariably in them they'll find ashes and bones of humans, because invariably these guys were involved in sacrifices, blood sacrifices.
Built the pyramids, and I can tell you...
All right, Dave. Well, I am now feeling like I am beyond control of my own stream.
Yeah.
And that perhaps that's a good point, lest I, tank my own whole channel, that I call it a day. And perhaps we revisit the Nephilim and the end times in our next episode. What do you think?
I mean, I'm so drunk right now.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So this is an introduction. So we've had we've now got to the point where they're talking about Bible prophecy, and we will pick it up next time in terms of the Bible things. I appreciate everyone who is hanging out with us tonight. I hope that you enjoyed your introduction to Art Bell and to the glory that is Coast to Coast AM and the weird dichotomy that it is between skepticism and credulity that we all face in many portions of life, and it's just fun to see it all play out together. Dave, I've enjoyed hanging with you as always.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anyway, sorry to cut this may seem like a little bit short, but I feel like perhaps I've lost control of my own stream, so I'm going to rethink what some of the rules are for some of it for the next time. Dave, I was going to say, normally I would say, where do people find you? But you don't even have your own channel.
I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have any social media.
So you will find Dave on our next episode of Toast to Toast AM the newest show on our channel. And if you appreciated it, if you enjoyed this show and want to see it contribute, put your favorite emoji in the chat and we will find you next time. And until next time, later.
Good night, everybody. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm looking for the thing. Where it is.
Do you need someone to come help you? Help you click on